Hey guys, and welcome to today's class. I'm Aishwarya and I will be taking you through today's class, which is on sexual reproduction in flowering plants. Hi guys, hi Papya, hi Charvi, hi Raja, welcome and good evening. Hi Ayush, hi Yasharth, hi Shobha, hi Aryan, hi Suraj, hi Disha. Hi guys, welcome. I'm so happy that you're all there. Hi Obarna, very good. Hi, good evening. Hi guys, okay. I can see that a lot of you are feeling excited for today's session. Come on, how many of you are feeling excited for what we are going to be discussing today? Can I see some excitement in the chat box? Come on, I want you to show how excited you are. Hi Parth, hi Sophia, hi Vidushi, hi Piyush, good evening. I'm doing very good Vidushi, how are you? Well, hi Sanvi, hi Ashish, hi Ashwarya, hi. Yes, I can see that a lot of excitement is coming in the chat. Come on, I want to see some more excitement. Hi Aryan, hi Sakina, hello. Yes, I can see all of the excitement coming in. So guys, very quickly, I want you to tell me, can you hear me? Can you see me clearly? And can you see what I am writing on the screen? If everything is visible, again, go ahead, send me a thumbs up. Hi Pooja, how are you? Hi Ritik. Hello. Please, can you guys all tell me if everything is A-okay and good to go? Yes, I can see that. Yes, Shobha, we will get started very soon. I just want to take a quick check if everything is working fine. Then we will get started with our class today. Hi Priya, hi Mausam, hi Amal, hi Sudesh, hi Abhishek. Hi guys. All right then. Oh my God. Thank you so much, Mausam, that I'm just like Virat Kohli. As a matter of fact, he's my favorite cricketer. Did you know that? Well then, okay. I can see that everybody is, everything is perfect for you guys. So let's quickly have a look at what we are going to be doing in our session today. So in our class today, we are going to be discussing some very important concepts. All right. And here, as you can see, that we will be talking about pollen tube formation, we will be talking about fertilization, we will be talking about development of fruit and seed, and we will also be looking at germination of seed. So these are some of the important concepts that we will be covering in our class today. Now, of course, before we jump ahead and discuss all of these important concepts, I want you to very quickly tell me what is sexual reproduction, right? We learned about sexual reproduction in our previous class. Yes? Okay, I can see that Tanvi, you're saying that the screen is blurred. Not to worry, just wait for some time. It should get resolved, right? Okay. Guys, come on. We know that sexual reproduction is a mode of reproduction where both parents are required. Yes, Nikesh, very good. Right? We need both parents. And we know that these parents produce certain specialized cells, right? Yes, they will produce certain specialized cells. What are these specialized cells known as? Very quickly in the chat box. Very good, Disha. Formation of gametes. Gamete formation. I can see Aishwarya is also sending it in. Yes, very good. They will produce some specialized cells called as gametes, where the male will produce the male gamete and the female will produce a female gamete. And they are what gets involved in this process of reproduction. And of course, we see that there will be an offspring which is produced, right? Now, is the offspring identical to the parent or is it different from the parent, right? Can you very quickly tell me? Yes, I can see that a lot of you are getting the answer. Very good, Jayesh. Very good, Rupa. Very good, Shweta. Very good, Pragya. Very good, Sophia. Yes, variation is involved. Very good, guys. Very good, Ashwarya. Very good, Devika. Very good, Vidushi. We see that offsprings are not identical to the parents and variations are involved. Or you can say slight differences are observed. But of course, we do see similarities, okay? Like they'll have 2 ears, 2 eyes, a nose, right? Similarities will be there, of course, when I'm taking examples of humans. Yes, very good. Hi, Shweta. Welcome to the class. Yes, very good, Nikesh. Variations are seen. Yes, very good, Disha. It is different. Yes, very good. All right. Okay, Tanvi, I am so glad that it is sorted, right? All the issues are sorted. Yes, Archit. Very good. Good job, Anshu. Yes. Now that we have had a look at what is sexual reproduction in general, In our previous class, what did we learn about? We learned about sexual reproduction in flowering plants, right? And we started off by learning about the structure of the flower. Yes, so in the flower, we know that there are some important parts that are there, such as the sepals, we have the brightly colored petals, right? We have the stamen, and of course, we have the pistil. Yes? Now, very quickly, I want you to tell me, stamen is the male reproductive part or the female reproductive part? Very quickly, is the stamen male or female reproductive part? Yes, Aishwarya, carpel and stamen. Yes, very good. Yes, very good. It is male. Yes, Shweta, the offsprings in sexual reproduction will be similar but not identical. Yes, okay, Yogi, I understand that you have just completed your exam, but it's never too late to revise all of these interesting concepts. Very good, guys. Very good part. Nikesh, Mausam, Pragya, you've all got it right. It is the male reproductive part. And here we see that the anther will produce structures known as pollen grains. While on the other hand, we can see that pistil is the female reproductive part. And we know that pistil in turn has stigma, style, ovary and ovules. So these are all the different parts of the flower. Now, of course, we also looked at reproduction in plants, right? The broad events that are involved, which includes pollination, it includes fertilization, and of course, lastly, we have root formation, right? So we have fruit formation. Now, in our previous class, we also looked at what was pollination, right? Yes, very good, guys. Very good, Ashish. Yes, female part is also known as gynoecium. Yes, of course. Yes, Shweta. Pistil is the female reproductive part. Yes, Jayesh. Stamen is the male part. Very good, Rupa. Very good. I can see that all of you are very well versed with the structure of the flower. Now, let us have a look at pollination, right? We know that pollination is a process of transfer of pollen grains from the anther to the stigma. So, this part that I am underlining is very, very important, and I would like you to make a note of it as well, right, when you are writing the definition of pollination. And we know that there are two types. Very good, Nikesh, very good, Ashish, very good, Aishwarya, right? I can see, very good, Shweta. You guys are all sending in answers because we have two types of pollination, wherein we have self-pollination and we have cross-pollination. Now, one thing you need to remember about self and cross-pollination is that self-pollination is transfer of pollen from the anther to stigma of the same flower, right? So here, as you can see, it is within the same flower. While cross-pollination, on the other hand, is when transfer of pollen happens from the stamen to the stigma of an other flower or between two different flowers. But one very important thing that you need to remember is that it is of the same kind, the flowers. That means that transfer of pollen will not happen between rose and lotus, right? It will happen between the same species of the plant. So that's very important to remember. And Fennel, no, you are not late. We are doing a quick recap of what we have studied in the previous class. Yes, very good, Archit, very good, Aishwarya. You've all been doing a wonderful job. You're all sending in the appropriate and correct answers. Very proud of all of you. Yes, self-pollination examples include pea and China rose. Very good, Archit, very good. So with this, we have quickly recalled what all we have learned in our previous class, right? But now, what do you think would happen after the pollen grains will, land on the stigma? What is going to happen? Can anybody take a guess? Well, Papia, the mentee quiz will be after today's concept capsule session. Okay, so let's focus on what we are learning today. What is going to happen once the pollen grain will land on the stigma? So let's visualize this as well, right? As you can see here, we have the stigma, which is this knob-shaped structure that you see, and we have the pollen grain. Now, what is going to happen next is not directly fertilization. Yes, very good, Fennel, Nikesh, Bhagya, Ashish, right? We can see that pollen tube formation takes place. So if you see right here, this structure that is being highlighted is the pollen tube. But if we zoom into it and look closely, right? Let's zoom into it. What can you see? Yes, very good, Papya. Pollen will produce pollen tube. Very good, guys. Very good, Papya, Disha, Rupa. Yes, I can see that all of you are sending in correct answers. I like how you're keeping the chat alive and you're being so excited and you're sending everything in. Very good. So here, as you can see, this right here is the pollen tube. So let me use maybe a brighter colors for you to see. Yes, so the pollen tube will form, or we say the pollen tube will germinate. But what are these blue color structures that you see inside? Can anybody take a guess as to what that might be? What are these blue color dots that you see here? We know that pollen tube is germinating or pollen tube formation is taking place. Hi Manshi, welcome to the class. What is the pollen tube carrying? Very quickly. Yes, very good. I can see some answers coming in. Very good, Ashish. It is the gametes, right? So these are the male gametes that are there. Now guys, one thing that you need to remember. Yes, very good, Nikesh. It is the male gamete. Now, one thing you need to remember, where most often some confusion might be there, is that sometimes we tend to say pollen grain is the male gamete. Now, you have to be very careful that you don't say that, because pollen grain is not the male gamete. But the pollen grain will contain the male gamete, or we can also say the male germ cell. So, you may also come across this term. Not to worry, it is the same thing. And how many of it do we see, or how many gametes do we see? We see that there are 2 gametes. Oh, Darshini says that it's her birthday. Well, happy birthday, Darshini. I'm very glad that you're part of today's session. I hope you have a wonderful year ahead. Right, very good. I can see that a lot of you are sending in wishes for Darshini and also saying that there are 2 male gametes in the pollen tube. So now, as you can see, the pollen tube carrying the male gametes will travel down through the style, right? So style is this long tubular structure which is part of the pistil. And finally, we see that the pollen tube will reach where? The pollen tube will ultimately reach the ovary, and it will reach the ovule that is present inside the ovary, right? So far guys, whatever we have discussed on pollen tube formation, is this clear to you before we go ahead to the next part? Yes, I can see a lot of wishes coming in for Darshini, right? But guys, very quickly, I want you to focus here and let me know if whatever we have discussed so far is clear. You can send a thumbs up or you can say yes, please, so that I know that we are clear with whatever we've been discussing so far. Okay, Shweta, okay, Charvi, yes. Shobha, you asked me to explain this again, so very quickly, I will run this through. We know that pollination will take place where transfer of pollen will happen from the anther to the stigma, right? And finally, we know that the pollen will land on the surface of the stigma. Now, the pollen grain will germinate to form the pollen tube. And the pollen tube will contain the male gametes. So, the pollen tube will germinate and, it will travel downwards through the style, it will reach the ovary, and finally the ovules. So I hope it is clear now. So far, whoever have had a doubt with how pollen tube formation takes place? Yes? Duration of pollen tube formation. Well, you see, we cannot really put, give a definite time, right? Because it again differs from plants to plants. But of course, it may vary from sometimes, it may take just a few minutes to a few hours, right? So I cannot really specify and give you a conclusive answer, right? Okay, I hope so far it's clear. Now let's move on to the next bit, where now the pollen tube that is carrying the gametes have reached all the way till the ovule. So this right here is a zoomed in version of the ovule that you see here, right? And as you can see, there are a lot of cells which are present inside the ovule, right? We have some cells in green, we have some in purple, right? And some cells here. Now, one thing is that we do not need to focus on all the cells, right? But rather we need to focus on 2 important cells here. One is the egg cell and the other is the polar nuclei. Now here, as you can see, the egg cell is also known as the female gamete, right? Or we can also say what? It is the female germ cell. While on the other hand, we see here that we have this structure here in the center. So let me just change the color. So we have this structure in the center and we're calling it polar nuclei. But it is also known as central cell, okay? So very easy way to remember. Where is the central cell present? In the center, and it also has 2 nuclei. We say polar nuclei, right? And what do we also know? The gametes have reached the ovule, right, after pollen tube formation. So now a very important process takes place, which is one male gamete will fuse with the egg cell or the female germ cell to form the zygote. And this process of fusion of male and female gametes is called as fertilization. Guys, I want you to make an important note of this, right? Because this definition is very, very important. And when you're writing it, make sure you have these keywords, that it is fusion of male and female gametes. And one male gamete will fuse with one egg cell and it will give us the zygote. But you see, we have one more male gamete here, right? What do you think will happen to that male gamete? Yes, I can see a lot of you sending in answers. Very good. It is fertilization, right? Fusion means fusion of male and female gamete is fertilization. Very good, Shweta. Very good, right? So now as you can see, the next male gamete will fuse with the polar nuclei to form the endosperm, right? Yes, fennel, as you can see in the ovary there are 8 nucleus but only 7 cells. That is because of the polar nuclei that are there, which I have represented as a central cell. That is why you are only able to see 7. Yes, triple fusion will take place because central cell will have 2 nuclei, right? And it will fuse with a male gamete and there will be triple fusion taking place. And ultimately it will form the endosperm. But we don't need to go too much in detail of it, because all you need to understand is that there is fusion taking place and this fusion is known as fertilization. One male gamete fusing with egg cell to form zygote, other male gamete fusing with polar nuclei to form endosperm. And since fertilization is taking place twice, we will call this as what? We will call it as double fertilization. Okay, so this is something maybe a little out of the syllabus, but it's always very good and important to know. Fuse or fertilization happen, both are same. Yes, you can say fusion, or when we say fertilization, it means fusion only. Hi Aman, welcome, right? So now as you can see, we have covered the concept of fertilization as well, right? So very quickly, I have a question for you. The fusion of male gamete and polar nuclei result in the formation of what? Egg cell, endosperm, seed or zygote? Very quickly, I want you to just send me the option number, right? Yes, somebody is asking me the difference between zygote and endosperm. Not to worry, just give me some time. I will be explaining the same to you. Yes, I can see a lot of answers coming in. Very good, Akriti, Ashrat, Abarna, Shobha, Archit. Yes, the correct answer is option B, where fusion of male and female gamete will result in the male gamete and polar nuclei will result in the formation of endosperm. Now guys, you remember in the previous class, you were given a PDF from which there were some 5 interesting and intriguing questions that were there for you to solve. So how many of you actually took some time out and had a look at that PDF and solved those questions? You can be honest here, okay? You can tell me what it is. Let me know in the chat box. Yes, Shweta, I can see you've solved it. Very good, Shweta, very good. And it is okay in case you have missed out on solving that question, right? If at all, you know you've missed it out. Okay, so Shruti, it's okay. It's fine. Ashwarya, it's completely, you've done it. Oh, very good, very good. Sorry, I misread that. Very good, Ashish. Very good, Papya. Okay. Bhavika, you're asking me to explain triple fusion once again. Can you please give me some time? I will explain it at the end of the class if you do not mind when we are summarizing, right? Because we have a few more interesting things to do. Yes. Oh, it's okay, Nikesh. No problem, no problem. So what we are going to do is we will solve it together now. Not a problem, okay? So as you can see here, given below are images of pre and post fertilization. Observe the image carefully and match them with the correct labeling, okay? So as you can see, we have one image which shows pre-fertilization, the other which shows post. So very quickly, can you guys try to identify and tell me what is X and Y here? X here represents the cell that is there in the center, right? Which is the cell that is there in the center? Can you guys take a quick guess? What is it? Akriti, it will be there in the previous classes, Sexual Reproduction or Concept Capsule session. In the description, you will find it. Yes, I can see a lot of answers coming in. Very good, Nikesh. Very good, Bhavya. Very good, Shakti. Yes, this is the polar nuclei, or we can say central cell. And Y here is what? What is Y? Can you quickly tell me what is Y here? Y here, as we know, is nothing but the germ cell, right? Which is also the... I'm going to quickly give you a small hint. Yes, very good. I can see some answers coming in. It is the egg cell or female germ cell, or I can even put egg cell. And as you can see, this is post-fertilization. What will happen to the polar nuclei after fertilization? What will it become? Endosperm or zygote? Which part becomes fruit of flowers? Just give me 5 minutes. I will get to that in just a bit. Yes, so A here after fertilization becomes the endosperm. Very good. And B right here will become the zygote. Very good, guys. Very good. Very good, Fennel. Very good, Vaibhav. Very good, Diksha. Very good, Amitabh. Very good, Charvi. Right. So now that we have identified what is X and Y, right? We can have a quick look at all the options. And then we just need to match which is the correct answer, where X is zygote, right? So in this case, we see that X here is, endosperm. My bad. X here is the, oops, I made a small mistake again because this is pre-fertilization, right? So sorry guys, X right here is the polar nuclei, while Y right here is the egg cell, right? And we know that A here is the endosperm, while B right here is what? It is the zygote. Which is why in this case, which is the correct answer? Yes, very good. It is option D. Sorry for that mix-up I had in between. So with this, we've looked at pollen tube formation and fertilization. Now very quickly, we will be looking at fruit formation. Yes, very good, Disha. Very good. You've got the answer. Now we know that the process of fertilization takes place inside the ovule, which is present inside the ovary. Now what will happen after fertilization to the, the petals and the sepals, all of that, what is there? Do you think it will be there? Have you ever seen a fruit with petals and sepals? No, right? You've never seen a fruit with petals and sepals. Usually it's not there. That is because after fertilization, these structures will fall off or they will wither off. So these are some changes that we observe post-fertilization. And finally, we see that the ovule will become the seed and the ovary will ripen and it will become into the fruit. So these are some post-fertilization changes that we will observe. Very good, Shweta. Very good, Aparna. Very good, Yashrat. Very good. You guys have got it. Now with this, we have had another question which we had given in the PDF that was there in the description, wherein we had to do a very simple match the following, right? So you can do this with me, wherein we see that union of male and female gametes is called as fertilization, and the process that leads to the production of new offsprings. Now based on this, we need to match options in column 1 to the options in column 2. So can we match this very quickly? I want you to keep sending the answers to me in the chat, right? We know that egg cell post-fertilization will become what? It will become into zygote, right? And what will happen to the polar nuclei? What will happen to it? Polar nuclei will become endosperm, while the ovary here will ripen and become into the fruit, and ovule will become into the seed. So which is the correct answer to this? Well, as you can see, 1 is matched to D, 2 here is matched to A, right? 3 here is matched to what? Okay, I need some time to do this because I'm a little slow here. Sorry about that. So the order is D, A, B, C. Yes, very good. In this case, as you can see, the correct answer is option B. And I can see that a lot of you have been sending in your answers. Very good, Fennel. Very good, Shweta. Very good, Abhinav. Right? So let's very quickly go through all the options that are, or all the, other options that are there, because we know that this is not right here, right? Because they're all incorrect matches. So match the following, take some time and solve it, okay? So with this, we have looked at 2 very important steps. Now, the next thing that we will quickly discuss is seed dispersal, right? Now, when we talk about seed dispersal, we know that it is a natural process of transporting seeds away from the parent plant. And seed dispersal is very important because it is needed for the survival of the organism or survival of that particular plant. Otherwise, what will happen is all the seeds will be very near to the parent plant and they'll all be growing in that one space, competing for food and space, and then some of them may not be able to survive. And we see that there are various agents of seed dispersal, which includes wind, water, animals, and birds. And we also see that wind and water here are the abiotic factors or abiotic agents of seed dispersal, while animals and birds are the biotic agents or the living components, right? And we see that eventually this seed will become into a new plant. But how exactly does a small seed give rise to a new plant? How does this process take place? Yes, very good, Ashish. There will be competition for food and minerals also. Yes, very good. Yes, Sushruti, just give me 1 minute. Cross-pollination or self-pollination is better. We will discuss this question in some time, right, if we don't mind. Okay. So yes, as I can see some answers coming in. And for this, we need to quickly recall the structure of the seed, right? We know that seed is formed after the development of the ovule. And inside the ovule, we have the zygote, right? And this zygote will develop and become into the embryo that has plumule as well as radicle. And plumule will become into the future root. Plumule will become into the future shoot. And radicle will become into the future root. And we see that cotyledons provide nutrition for their growth. And yes, this process is known as seed germination. Very good, guys. Very good. This whole process is known as seed germination. Now, of course, we had a very quick question on this as well, where we had to identify the structures labeled A, B, and C. So very quickly, let's have a look at this, right? Now, we have A, B, and C. What do we know B is? What is B? Yes, Kaushik, I'm fumbling a little. I'm not making mistakes. I'm just, missing some few things out. But of course, it happens. We're all human beings, right? So very sorry about it. Yes. Okay. So now as you can see here, A right here is the plumule, which means that this right here helps in shoot formation. While C right here that is there will help in what? It is the radicle, which means that it will help in root formation. And lastly, what is B right here? B is nothing but cotyledons, which helps in nourishment. So in this case, what do you think is the correct answer? Yes, very good, guys. The answer here is option C. Very good. Very proud of all of you. So I can see that a lot of you have got this right. Now, very quickly, if I have to, go through whatever we have learned so far. We started off by learning about the structure of the flower. We learned about pollination. We learned about pollen tube formation, followed by fertilization. And once fertilization takes place, fruit formation and seed formation takes place, which will eventually give rise to a new plant. And this is how plants would reproduce sexually. Now here I have a very quick question that I want you to answer. Part of the seed that gives rise to the root is what? Cotyledon, radicle, plumule, endosperm. Super easy. Yes. In the meantime, I will also quickly answer this question. What is the difference between germination and fertilization? Germination is the process wherein an embryo will develop into a new plant, while fertilization is the process of fusion of the male and female gamete, resulting in the formation of zygote. So I hope I've solved your doubt and it's clear now. Yes, very good, guys. Very good. The answer here is option B. Very good, Chitra. Very good, Archit. Very good, Shailaja. Very good. Right. So very quickly, if I have to wrap this up and quickly summarize what we learned, we started off by understanding how after pollination, we have pollen tube formation, followed by which we have fertilization taking place where fusion of gametes happen, and then we have fruit formation. And then we also learnt about the basic structure of the seed and germination of seeds. So with this, we have wrapped up our session and we have the mentee quiz after this, right? So before we jump ahead, in the next class, we will be learning about human reproduction, right? It will be same time, same place at 6:30. And if you are enjoying what we are teaching, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so that you can keep getting updates. And at the same time, if you see, we have another interesting PDF link attached in the description box. So if you go to the description box in the video, you will find the PDF link where there will be 5 intriguing questions that will be related to human reproduction, right? So what we are going to do is you will jump into the mentee quiz. So here, go to www.mentee.com, use the code 76093 592. And guys, I know there are 1 or 2 questions which I have missed out. I will be discussing that in the mentee quiz segment. So let us go there and have fun, right? So thank you so much, guys. See you there. Bye-bye.